What is up everyone, welcome back to the channel. First of all, if you are new here, I make loads of videos that kind of aim to inspire you to push yourself to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Basically just self-improvement, things like fitness, things like finance, motivation, study, uni, applications, all of that to help you reach all of your goals and progress in all of the areas that you want to progress in. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, make sure to hit that subscribe button below. In fact, at the moment we've actually got this new series, it's called Taking on 2021, and it's basically about trying to fight off the growing lack of motivation with all of the stuff that's going on at the moment and trying to push that back and to actually get on with all of the stuff that we need to. But anyway, today's video is a UCAS timeline. So what I've seen a lot of people ask for and what I was really interested in is after you've sent your application off, when do your decisions come in, when do you get invites for interviews and things like that. So I'm going to be going through all of the universities, all of the dates that everything was received, handled, I received decisions and received interviews, etc., and all of those times relative to when I sent my application off, so you get kind of a feel for the general timeline. Now obviously it fluctuates hugely depending on university, course, department, etc, etc. But the universities I applied to were Cambridge, Imperial, Bath, Southampton and Birmingham. And I applied for each of those for engineering, general engineering at Cambridge, mechanical engineering at Imperial, mechanical with automotive at Bath, Southampton and Birmingham. And those are all of my decisions. If you actually want to see my live decision reactions, I made a video on all of those reactions up there, and it's actually one of the best performing videos on my channel, so I do really appreciate all of the support on that. But yeah, basically how this video is going to be laid out is I'm going to go through all of the key dates from the moment I submitted my application. They'll all appear here, and then followed by that the exact number of days since submitting my application that all of those updates came in. So it'll be the update followed by that period of time. Now I just watched loads of these kind of videos when I was actually applying or had sent off my application, so hopefully it can be helpful for you guys and either reassure you or kind of give you a bit more of an idea of when you can expect to receive offers and things like that. But before we begin all of the video, I had some exciting news just come in, and it was found in a recent study that smacking the like button increased your chances of being able to go on holiday this year by 500%. Now that's just facts, so if you haven't already, you'd probably want to go smack that like button, because I don't know about you, but I do really want a summer holiday. Maybe that's just me. Yeah. But anyway, let's get straight into it. Okay, so starting off with kind of my application process, so actually me sending off the application, so sending it to school, getting it reviewed, and sending it actually to UCAS, that began on the 27th of September 2020. So I actually sent my application to school having completed it on the 27th, because the deadline for UCAS, for Oxbridge and medicine, I believe was the 15th of October. So I wanted to make sure that everything was out of the way and done in good time. So I actually gave it like almost 3 weeks. Turns out it got sent back and I had to review a few things because I'd missed off things like past jobs and stuff like that. So it's always good to hand it in early just in case you have any bumps like that. But then my school finished it, had all my references done, and it was sent to UCAS on the 9th of October 2020 at 7:35. That's when they acknowledged it, that's when they started to process it and send it off to all of the different universities. So that is going to be our point of reference for all of the rest of the updates along the timeline. So the 9th of October 2020, that's when it's received, that's when it was started. After that, the next kind of phase was getting all of the applications received by the different universities. So on the 10th of October at 3:30 AM, a day after the initial sending off of the application, Cambridge received it, and then Bath received it on the same day at 7:07 AM, Southampton received it the same day at 6:01 PM, and Birmingham received it on the same day at 7:37 PM. So on that day, literally a day after I'd actually sent off the application, all of the universities apart from Imperial received that application, and that was between 3:30 in the morning and 7:30 at night. But then 2 days after that, so 3 days after I sent my initial application off, on the 12th of October 2020 at 8:35, Imperial received it. But then 3 days after that date, on the 15th of October 2020 at 4:43, Imperial actually sent me another email saying they'd processed the application and it had now been sent to the department for review. So if a lot of you are kind of waiting on Imperial and are like, okay, maybe I'm not going to hear back or all of this, and building up the kind of stress of not hearing anything, it's either because it hasn't been sent to the department yet for review, or they just have an insane number of applications and they're trying to get through them and yours is just say towards the end of the file. So I don't think that not hearing anything, you can't really infer anything from not hearing anything back. You can only know whether or not you've got in or whether you've got a good chance of getting in, A, after the interview, and then B, when you actually receive your decision. So don't stress about it in the meantime. Just kind of move on and don't start questioning all of your applications and everything you've done. Yeah, so that was on the 15th of October. Then the next update wasn't for another 9 days on the 24th of October when Birmingham started processing my application at 6:29, 15 days after I sent off my initial application. Now, here's where it starts to like pick up and all of the big updates come in. So I actually received my offer from Birmingham on the 26th of October 2020 at 3:10. That's 17 days after I initially sent my application off. And bearing in mind, not many people have sent their applications off at this point because this was only for the Oxbridge and medicine deadline. So nowhere near as many people as were sending applications off had sent theirs in. So 17 days is considering the fact that they didn't have many applications. So if yours is more than that, don't worry. It's probably just because there's a greater volume of applications at that current point in time. Then my next decision didn't come in until 34 days after I sent my application off. It came in on the 12th of December 2020 at 5:30 p.m. and that was my offer from Southampton. Now, on the very same day at 9:14 p.m, my offer from Bath came in. So I'd now had all of the choices that didn't require any interviews to get an offer or to receive a decision, and that was all between 2.5 weeks and about 5 weeks after I sent my application. And that's bearing in mind the lower demand or the lower number of applications at that time. So that's actually on the quicker end of the application. Although some people that I know have received theirs after about a week, some people I know it's taking like 3 or 4 months. So after that, the next big update happened on the 13th of December at 3:17 p.m, 35 days after I sent my application and a day after that double whammy of offers. So that was my invitation to interview at Imperial. So that was gas because I just had that kind of hype of those 2 offers, and now getting an interview invite for the university that I genuinely wanted to go to the day after, it was pretty mad, and they kind of just all came rolling in at once. So it was a bit kind of like, whoa. But yeah, and they scheduled my interview. So I got the email and it said that my interview was going to be in 12 days. So at that point, stress kicked in and I was just doing everything that I possibly could to prepare for that interview. I'm actually going to have a video coming out soon as to how I exactly prepared for that interview. But yeah, I was pretty stressed at that time, seeing as it was the place I actually wanted to go. So then 12 days later, on the 25th of December 2020, 47 days after I submitted my application, I had my interview at Imperial, and it was a great interview. And if you haven't already seen my interview experience at Imperial, I've linked a video up there, but I basically talk about everything that we went over in the interview and kind of how I felt the experience was. Okay, then the day after my Imperial interview, I got an invitation to interview at Cambridge. And now this was actually on the 26th of, I just realised I've been going on saying it's December when it's actually November. So anytime I've mentioned December up until this point, yeah, I was wrong. It's actually November. I apologise hugely, damn. But yeah, the next day on the 26th of November at 1:35, so I was actually leaving school at this point, I got an invitation to interview at Cambridge. Now this was kind of like the day after I just had my solid interview with Imperial, and I kind of prepared up until this point. And bearing in mind, Imperial was the place I wanted to go anyway, it didn't set a huge amount of stress on me, and I was kind of just recovering from the last 2 weeks of revising for the Imperial interview. So I was just kind of a bit like, okay, nice, I just got to carry on. But then on the 30th of November 2020, 5 days after I had my Imperial interview and 52 days after I sent off my application, I received my offer from Imperial. And that was honestly one of the best days. And I'd actually been doing something else that day. I can't remember what it was now, which is really annoying me, but it was just brilliant. It was something to do with this YouTube channel or something like that. It was like huge success on that day. And then I had the offer and it just hopped off the day and I was gassed. So then all I had to do was go into the interview on, it was actually a double interview, on the 9th of December 2020 for Cambridge. Now I actually applied to St Catherine's College. I had 2 interviews, one at 12:05 p.m. and one at 12:35. I went into those interviews feeling really solid and I thought I'd absolutely smashed it. Maybe that was just my limiting perspective or something like that, but I felt it went pretty well and I felt I was prepared having had the Imperial one already, so I was kind of coming in with a bit of confidence, which was nice. But a month and a half later, 108 days after I sent my initial application off, on the 25th of January 2021 at 10:24, a Cambridge decision day, I was rejected from Cambridge, and that completed my application cycle, and everything from start to finish, all of the interviews, all of the decisions, all of the offers and all of that finished 108 days or just over 3 months after I sent off my initial application, and that was it. Okay, I'm now going to go and summarize the key things. So when I sent my application off and when I received my decisions, because that's really what you want to see. So let's go and do that now. Okay, so having sent my application to UCAS and it being received on the 9th of October 2020, I received my first offer 17 days later, and it was from Birmingham on the 26th of October 2020. Now my second and third offers came in on the same day, 34 days after submission on the 12th of November 2020. And then my invitation to interview at Imperial came in 35 days later on the 13th of November, and my invitation to interview at Cambridge came in 48 days after submission on the 26th of November 2020. And then the final two decisions came in on the 30th of November, which was 52 days after submission, and then Cambridge's on Cambridge Decisions Day, which was the 25th of January 2021, 108 days after submission of my application. Okay, well I'm afraid that is it for today's video, but hopefully you've kind of found that helpful, maybe a bit reassuring, and it kind of gives you an idea of some of the times you can expect, or you can compare it to the times and the dates that you received your offers and stuff like that. So yeah, I do hope you've enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to drop a like, don't forget to subscribe, and I've got loads more content coming very soon, including loads more episodes of the Taking On 2021 series, which again, if you haven't checked out, it's probably a good idea to, because it's just energizing, breathing lots of motivation, we're chucking loads of just random energetic edits and stuff just to help you get through this year and just this weird, wacky time. If you want to stick around, if you want to see more content, don't forget to drop a subscribe. I'm going to crack on with some more editing of the next video, but otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.
I live inside my own world of make-believe.